Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners check-in. Sorry for the delay. We had a few technical issues to work through. We were scheduled to start at 2. It's 2:11 p.m. and we have Commissioner Wayne Fournier. My name is Ty Menser. We have Commissioner Carolina Mejia and Commissioner Emily Klaus on Zoom, as well as County Manager Ana Hernandez, Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell, and Assistant County Manager Rob Gelder, also through Zoom. Public can follow along on the Thurston County YouTube channel. Commissioner Edwards is excused for this session. So first up is external boards and commissions. Any reports from commissioners? Commissioner Mejia, do you want to go first? You're muted.
I wasn't going to tell her.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, sure. So for last week, I attended the Washington State Association of County Special Board meeting. And so we have affirmed the decision for the Legislative Steering Committee to pursue in a suit against DCYF. I attended the Board of Health agenda planning setting, had a meeting with the leadership of the Hispanic Roundtable, attended the Transit Appreciation Day recognition program, and it was just a really great celebration right next door for Inner City Transit and all the wonderful employees there. I also attended the 20-year Nurse Family Partnership Celebration Open House, and just want to give a big shout out to Gretchen and to all of our nurses and administrative team that do such a fantastic job. I was so surprised when I've heard that they've served over 17,000 families, and just what a great benefit and what a great program it is really to Thurston County. And then I also attended the Thurston County Fair Open. I did not win. I'm calling for a rematch on those dart throwing. I don't think the point they counted for the sheriff actually should have counted, but Commissioner Menser won second place. I'm still kind of sore about that one too. Let's see. I have, this kind of goes into my commissioner item, and it's in regards to Pack Mountain, but I'm happy to wait for that. And then had the subcommittee meeting. I also had a TRPC assessment subcommittee meeting where they were talking about adding additional fees for IT infrastructure. So that is something that we will be seeing in the future. And so we were discussing on what would be the fairest way to kind of charge these new IT infrastructure charges. And so we will be seeing an increase in our assessments for TRPC in the future. Attended the pancake breakfast. There was such a great turnout. And so that's my report.
Any questions for Commissioner Mejia? Seeing none. Commissioner Klaus?
Thank you. I don't have very many reports. I didn't have any external boards or committee meetings last week, but I did participate in a ride-along with Joint Animal Services field service team on Friday, and that was really interesting to kind of see what types of calls they get and how their system works. I also attended the pancake breakfast and the subcommittee meetings for the courthouse, and that's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Fournier.
Of course, had the courthouse subcommittee meeting, which has been mentioned by the other commissioners.
I don't get a report on that?
Well, there will be a kind of a preliminary briefing coming up before the end of the month. So we're gonna report out on some of the things that we've learned and where we're at now. Went out with the Offa Lake Management District and watched them start their weed survey and saw the IVAMP kind of in place. And then I also attended the Thurston County Fair and learned about all the different animals being shown and tractors being built, and it looked like it was going real well.
Okay, thank you. I don't really have any reports from external committees. I just attended a lot of events, 2 related to Nurse Family Partnership, 2 related to the fair. The WASAC Virtual Assembly today, Commissioner Fournier, I saw him there. It was about the work group that was formed by the governor regarding public health. And they have 3 recommendations. They're very kind of high level. I think at one point she called it word salad, and that kind of seemed like what it was. It was like, one of them was about streamlining data collection and sharing across different groups. Another one was about funding. Shoot, I wrote down, but let me just pull that up because they were pretty succinct, to be honest. There were only 3. Let's see. Okay, so the 3 recommendations: streamline data and communication systems. Number 2 was integrate health and emergency response planning that supports an increase in system capacity, better funding flow, and better decision-making. The 3rd one was to fund capacity to build partnerships and relationships. So then there was discussion from the commissioners about that, questions about what do we do about workforce shortages, when there's something hits and we're facing workforce shortages already. Interesting question about Commissioner Rolfes was talking about trying to better, in her view, and she was obviously at the state level when it was all going down, she felt like having a clarification of emergency. She said most of our laws around emergency powers are geared for a short-term emergency, like 3 months, and no one really ever contemplated a 3-year emergency, and that created political discord and confusion about how emergency powers would unfold over a longer-term emergency like that, and that a clarification of that would be really useful for any sort of future similar thing we might encounter. So anyway, that was a good discussion. And I think that's about it for my external boards. So we'll go to commissioner items. Commissioner Mejia, you said you had one.
I have a couple, so.
Go ahead, we'll go one at a time.
Okay, the first one is in relation to, I guess I'll start with Pack Mountain. So Pack Mountain currently will have an opening in one of their board of directors. And so they have asked us, that is a Board of County Commissioners appointment, so they have asked us to start a recruitment for that. I just received the information, which I will be sending over to Amy. But in conversations with the director, kind of the greatest needs or the greatest kind of needs on the board based on specialty is in relation to medical, tribal, or hospitality. And so kind of, they were asking if kind of we could fill kind of one of those roles. So if we can start a recruitment process on that, or if anyone has some questions on the process, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, that sounds good. Go ahead, do you have a second? Any questions? Hearing no questions on that, all right. Go ahead.
Do you want me to keep going?
Sure.
Okay. My second item is in relation to the salary commission. So I just heard that there were several vacancies, and so I'm wondering tomorrow during agenda setting if we can see which vacancies those are. Is it still the HR and attorney one, or is it more of a broad one? So just, I guess, an update on that.
Yeah, we can get that information.
Okay, yeah. It's good for us to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Anything on that item? Nope. Commissioner Fournier, Commissioner item? No, Commissioner Klaus?
I don't have any.
Okay. I'm going to use this opportunity, we don't have Commissioner Edwards, but I'm going to use this opportunity to just maybe touch base with my seatmates about the report that or plan that we're supposed to submit to DNR by October 1st. They paused units 4 and 5 of the Cabbage Patch sale to give us that chance. I had the county manager recirculate the letter that we got, which we received March 12th. So I don't know if you've seen that, but I was just reviewing it this morning myself to look at exactly what it is we were asked to do. And I have some concerns about it for various reasons, and I think those concerns, whatever we submit to DNR, those concerns need to be addressed in some detail. For example, they ask us to, come up with work with DNR to come up with a plan, about protecting structurally complex forests. The delay would allow us to see what the legislature might have done in this last session, as well as the carbon and forestry management work group that was formed the year before. So I'm going to follow up and see where that work group stands. If any of you know, let me know. But at this point, I know they were meeting, but I really hadn't heard them issuing a report or coming up with any recommendations as of yet. So that's something I want to follow up on, because it would help us if that work group's got things that are relevant, and that may affect, the timing of what we're supposed to do and how we might want to phrase our response. They also talk about keeping beneficiaries whole monetarily. Couple of issues with that. One is, as far as I understand from Robin and Nicole, we made every effort to try to do our own analysis of that and hit a brick wall in terms of not having enough information provided to do our own analysis. So I want to object in the first instance to the idea that we can do what they're asking, because my understanding is we expended significant staff resources to try to do what they asked, and we're not able to do it. Secondly, they say that their fiduciary duty requires them to keep beneficiaries whole, and that's inconsistent with the Supreme Court's decision in Conservation Northwest case, so I'd definitely want to outline that. Then, about working with DNR, I want to outline that, and I'm going to put something together, I think, and circulate it to the board just as a starting point for discussion, but I want to outline that we've never gotten any help from DNR through all of our many meetings as far as a roadmap toward our community goals that we've been very explicit about. And we get an ever-shifting set of rationales for why our goals are not achievable, even in part. And now at the last set of weeks and months, we're getting actually a coordinated campaign against the very goals that the BNR is asking us to submit a plan to try to achieve, and submit that plan to DNR, the very entity that we understand is working at, specifically at cross purposes. So that gives me concern about, the good faith of us spending a lot of time and effort trying to put together a plan that is never going to be acceptable to, I think, DNR or BNR. So I'm really nervous about going down that rabbit hole. These are preliminary things that I think need to be fleshed out so they know. I want to respect the request that they made, but respect it to a point. And to the extent that they made it impossible for us to meet what they've asked for, I want to make that really clear. Once we've laid all that out, then I would say, here's our plan, here's the map of the areas that have been mapped as mature forest, and we would like to, find replacement lands, expand the carbon plan. There's different things that could be done. But aside from showing the map of where those lands need to be protected from our perspective, I'm not sure how much further we can go down the road when we don't have the information, the financial information, and we're not getting any help as we were promised earlier on by DNR. So anyway, I just want to throw all that out. That's kind of the thing swirling around as I try to put together just a first draft blush at what our response might be that we can then chew on together at a planning session, maybe in August or September, or however the county manager proposes that we go about it. We could set up a separate work session or whatever, but I just want to get that out there, and if folks have other things they want to say or that they think we should be saying or doing, now is the time, because we literally have less than 2 months before the deadline that was given to us by the Board of Natural Resources. Yes, Commissioner Mejia.
I would appreciate a work session to have more discussion on this, specifically with the board on how we should proceed, and so I'm in agreement with you.
Okay. So I'll have county manager set that up for the next couple of weeks or something. And I'll keep working on as much as I can in my free time. That's what I've basically been doing between meetings, is just trying to put things together, kind of dumping it into a memo, and now I'm trying to organize all that so we can discuss it kind of issue by issue. Hopefully that'll be helpful. Okay. That's all I had. There is one other issue percolating about the UGM meeting coming up, but I have a meeting with staff later today, and I think Commissioner Mejia and I have a meeting about this on Friday, so I think I'm gonna hold off bringing this up, but there is a time sensitivity, so if I'm not satisfied by what I learned in my meeting today, I may ask tomorrow as a commissioner item that we take some sort of action or discussion to see if something might need to be done. And this is a letter we just got. It's dated August 5th. It's dated today. I had actually had a meeting. I already knew everything in this letter because I had a meeting with somebody about it last week. So I won't say much because it's very well summarized in the letter we got today. It relates to the UGM subcommittee meeting that's set for August 19th. I'll just say on that point, UGM subcommittee meeting didn't meet for like the first 4 years I was on the board. And then when it did meet, I was appointed because the majority of the things being discussed were in Grand Mound, and that was at the time my district. Now I'm not sure what's on I haven't seen the agenda, and I'll still continue to represent the board unless we want to discuss changing that appointment. But I know there's a potential change to the countywide planning policies with respect to the new legislation about the UGA swap law. I know one of our applicants on our docket is trying to work through that process, and there's some preliminary thing that they'd like to be addressed. I don't know what else is on the UGM subcommittee agenda for the 19th. I'll try to find that out today or tomorrow. And if it's something that is kind of a hot topic, I'll bring it to the board so you guys can help me, so I have your input as to what position you would like me to take on that issue. But right now, I'm not 100% sure what is on the agenda. So more to come on that. I'm just a preview, and if I see something that I think we need to discuss, I'll bring it up as soon as I know. Commissioner Mejia.
Thank you. I would actually appreciate, just keeping us updated. I also got some information last week, and it was actually my third commissioner item, to see if we could add it to the UGM agenda. So, once you meet with staff and kind of get some feedback from them, if you could bring that information back to the board, and if it's something that, we need to discuss further, I just would like to know that information as well. I thought, honestly, with how the letter's laid out, I'm in agreement with them. And so, if there's something that, there's additional information that staff need to give us, if you could bring that back to the board.
Yes, absolutely. That's kind of, yep. Okay, anything else for today? Okay. We're at the end of the agenda, and we're adjourned.